Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, dude. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. So I wanted to ask, you were great in the film, by the way, but I wanted to ask, before I start talking about the film, I was wondering, how did you get into acting and modeling? Like, how did you start your process in the industry?
Well, we'll use modeling very loosely. I think I did some shots like when I was in my mid-20s. But acting, and I did that because I was into acting. So, sometimes they go hand in hand. Um, but I got into acting when I was 21. I had a dream one night where I was in, and this is as bizarre as it sounds real. I had a dream one night where I was an actor on the set of a film. And I don't know, it was like Inception, someone planted the idea in my head, and I woke up the next day and tried to convince friends to come with me to an acting class to try it, and no one had come. And I eventually got the courage to go. And I was awful, but I realized that was what I was meant to do as soon as I did the first class.
That's so cool. And I love the film, and I was wondering, you've worked with some of your co-stars and I think the director before. So how was it reuniting with them, and how did you come across this project or get involved with it?
I mean, they're incredible people who are very good at their job, and they're my friends. We get on really well. So to be able to do another project with them was a blessing. And this project came off obviously the back of that one. We obviously had such a good working relationship that these guys are producing quite a lot of films, and they had another one with a character in mind for me. So they sent me the script. I read it. I was like, it sounds awesome to me. I get to do my martial arts, do my acting, work with some cool people. It was a no-brainer for me. I was like, I'm in.
You were great in it. And one thing I
Oh,
loved about the character is he was very cool and kind, from like how you walked and like when you attack people without looking behind your shoulder and stuff. So I was wondering what drew you to the script, story, and characters, and how did you get into your character?
uh, I've always wanted to play someone who was like cool, calm, collected, quite slick with it. So as soon as I read Steve, because there was a million different ways that Steve could have been played, and I was like, well, the dialogue lends itself to me playing this the way I'd always wanted to play a type of character. So I was like, okay, this is cool. I'll do all the things that I wanted to do for that dream character. So I was just like put little, color and hints in the acting and stuff like that, and brought some ideas to the character there, to James and to Stephen Paul, the exec, and they liked my ideas, and they'd come up with a great character and script before. So it was great, man. It's a collaborate when you do a good project, it's a collaboration, and that's what it felt like.
Mhm. That's good. And how much of the film was real locations and how much was a set?
Oh, do I want to ruin the illusion for you? I mean, most of it was on the studio lot, uh, but they have a great team that can make the most out of us. Well, the studio is quite big, but they can do a lot with what they've got.
Mm.
Um, there was some stuff that was shot. There was some stuff that was shot on location, and I really enjoyed that because I like going to different places, different sets, seeing how they kind of make things look completely different. And then there's some green screen and stuff, and they're very good. So that was, yeah, it was, I'd say probably 70% studio and the rest on location.
That's good. And that sort of leads on to my next question. As you are from England, how do you find working in different countries for films?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, when I got into acting, one of my dreams was to travel the world and do films and play roles that I'd love to do. So I'm literally living the dream.
That's great. And as there's lots of action in this film, what would fire out the guns during filming? And did you do any shooting, sword, or knife fight training to get into character?
I mean, I've got a lot of training anyway in firearms and hand-to-hand combat. The swords were new. I did a bit of sword fighting on my last film, The Man with No Past. But the small knives and daggers and stuff like that, that was new. So that was fun to kind
Mhm.
of get to grips with those. But they're all transferable skills. So if you know how to move right, you can kind of make anything look good. I hope anyway. I hope it looks good.
You did look good in it. And
Thanks.
did you get to pick your own outfits and shoes for your character? And how did you prepare for this role?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I would love, I would, you know, each department has got their own remit. You know, the costume are responsible for how people look, and there's a lot of decision making that goes into how each individual character should look. And you get your input, you know. I can kind of say like, oh, I don't really like the way that looks on me, or can we try this top or that? But ultimately, the decision goes to someone else. But you know, I think they did okay. I think the outfits are quite cool. And I managed to don't tell anyone, but I did manage to get a pair of the boots to take with me. So
That's cool.
they're my little, you know, memento from the film.
Did you take anything else from the set or not?
No, no. I always try and take like one small thing from every character that I play. And I like
Mhm.
keep all of it in like a box. And, you know, one day when I've retired, when I'm hopefully a lot later in life, I can like open up that box and remember all the characters I've played.
Nice memories. And what was the hardest or most challenging scene for you to film?
Hmm. I mean, the most challenging was probably the car fight scene. But the only reason that was challenging was because we were on a real tight time schedule. So it was the peak of summer. It was one of the hottest days of summer when we were shooting. It was like 38 degrees. And there was no, where the location where we were, there was no kind of natural breeze coming through or anything. So after the first take, man, I was drenched and I had like 5 t-shirts on standby. So each time we did a new one, I'd put a new t-shirt on. So that was the hardest. But, you know, none of them were like, not, in fact, that was the most challenging, but none of them were hard, you know, because I love it. I love being on set. I love doing the job that I love. So you know, sometimes you might not get the scene quite right, and James, the director, might shout some directions at you, and it takes 2, 3 takes before you're both happy with what you've got. But you know, I love it.
Yeah. And can you share a funny behind the scenes moment or blooper from set?
Well, I injured myself
Ooh.
before I did the big car fight scene. And James is a very strong man because he's done martial arts his entire life, and he's a, you know, ex-stunt guy. And I was like, James, I've torn my hip flexor. And he was like, okay, well, when we do this big car fight scene, let me know and I'll help you. So I warmed up, but it was still quite sore. And he pushed me up against the wall and he was like, okay, I want you to breathe out. And then he got his thumb and like stuck it as far into my abdomen to get the psoas muscle, which is like deep in here to relax my hip. And it was one of the most excruciating pains I think I've ever been through.
That doesn't sound good.
No, but like between every take, he would have to push me up against the wall and stick his thumb into my abdomen, which wasn't very fun. That was the most challenging. That was the hardest.
Did you think it helped you though?
Oh
Like,
yeah, he saved me. He saved me during that scene.
mhm. And I have a bit of a fun question. If you were in the games in real life and you could pick any weapon, what would you pick? And would you try and fight or hide?
I've got to say, fight, man. I'm playing Steve McCabe. I've got to fight. You know,
Yeah.
I said I was going to hide. um, Weapons. Oh, I mean, what round? You know, what round? Because there's different weapons for each round.
Yeah. Any round, like it's your
You're right.
choice.
Uh, I'd probably pick a katana, like a big
Mhm.
Japanese samurai sword.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And when the car exploded in this film, was that real or added after the thing was done, like visual effects?
That was real. That was real.
Mhm. How loud was it when, and how much safety was there on set for that day?
Oh, I mean, whenever they do stunts or, you know, set pieces on set, the amount of safety protocols that go into planning those things, you couldn't be more safe if you tried. It was loud. It was loud, but it wasn't so loud. It's more the anticipation because everyone says there's going to be a big loud explosion, just so you know. And you're kind of waiting for it. You're like, "Oh, it's going to be any second now." And then it always comes a second after that you think it will.
That's cool. It's a bit like a party popper when you're trying to get it open. And were there any deleted scenes you can share, and were you allowed to do any improvisation?
I mean, I don't know about deleted scenes because I haven't seen the final edit of the film yet, so I don't know
Right.
exactly what's made it in or what's not, which is good. You know, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah,
I was allowed some improvisation. In fact, some of my improvisation made it into the trailer for the film, which I was proud of.
that's cool. Can you
Yeah.
share what improvisation it was?
It's when he's trying to. It's when he's saying like, "Have you ever held a gun before? A knife, a bat, sharp stick? I think sharp stick. Yeah.
That's cool. And what did you and the cast and crew do between filming scenes, and do you still keep in touch with them now?
Oh yeah, I keep in touch with a lot of the guys and girls. We're all good friends. They're all martial artists like I am, so we all had that in commonality. There were no egos. Everyone was really lovely to work with. So we all keep in touch. We've got a WhatsApp group where every now and then someone might just check in, see how everyone's doing. And what was the other part of your question?
Um, what did you do between filming scenes with the cast and crew?
Uh, Go to the gym. We go to the gym, eat, go on walks, explore, hang out. Yeah, we did. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. Like being with a big group of friends on holiday.
You have so much energy. And I was wondering, when you're filming romantic scenes, how do you get comfortable with your co-stars?
I mean, they're all look, romantic scenes are always slightly awkward. You
Mhm.
know, it's it's quite a skill to make them look natural because if you think about it, you're in a room, you're trying to show like private, intimate moments with someone that you would share with, you know, the characters have got a deep history together and they love each other, and you know, these moments are meant to be super private. And then you've got a crew of 50 people and a camera here and a light here and a microphone here. And it's like, okay, now be believably intimate. You know, it's they're probably one of the most challenging scenes to do. But if you've got a great co-star and you know you build up that rapport and they're good actors and you know they're nice people and you can get comfortable with them, then you can create some magic on screen.
Mhm. And if there was a sequel for this film, what would you like to see happen?
What would I like to see? I mean, just from a purely set, let's do the last gunfight in like Thailand or Bali or somewhere exotic, so I can go and have fun with my friends and do something I love in an exotic destination.
That's a good idea. And
Yeah.
when the characters are watching the game, it's all very posh and full of rich people. So I was wondering, what is the most posh or grand event you have attended or would like to attend?
I mean, look, dude, you never know. Maybe the Oscars one day. It'd be nice to go to the Oscars being one of the nominees. We'll get there one day.
I think you will win an Oscar one day.
No,
And
well, I'm glad you got faith in me, bro. I'll hold you
yeah,
to you told me
fingers
I was going to
crossed.
the Oscars.
And what tips do you have for people wanting to get into acting? And what would you recommend they send self-tapes to agents and stuff if they don't have any TV or film experience?
I think if you want to get into acting, you've got to get into acting for the right reasons. I do it because I love it. And it took a long time from the genesis of that very first acting class I went to my first professional acting gig. I think it was, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done student films, independent films, and different projects and stuff on stage. But for that first professional TV gig where it was something of substance and not a walk-on part, was probably 7 to 8 years. So, and at any point, if I was doing this for the wrong reason, I would have probably quit. But because I was doing it because I loved it. If I hadn't had any success up to this date, I would probably still be doing my 2 acting classes a week because it's what I love to do. So if you're going to do it, make sure you do it because you love it and you're not doing it for money or fame, because that's a very small percentage of people who get there.
That's good advice. And my final question before I go is, can you share any upcoming projects you have?
There's another film coming out in July, I think, called Fackham Hall, and that's a spoof comedy done in like Downton Abbey. So Downton Abbey done in the style of like Naked Gun, and I play a very different and interesting character in that.
Do you enjoy wearing the old-fashioned costume type things?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, my hair was all like coiffed, and I've got like a little pencil mustache, and that was
Yeah.
fun. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but some of the outfits are a bit. You'll have to see the film.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, it was great chatting with you. It was really good learning about your experiences and stuff. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thanks for talking to
You
me.
too. Bye.
Ah!